All right. Well, let's ignore the fact that there were 3 copies of Blue-Black Reanimator in the top 8 of Eternal Weekend. Let's ignore the fact that there were 3 copies of Mystic Forge Combo in the top 8 of Eternal Weekend. And let's zero in on the fact that some sicko absolutely top 8'd Eternal Weekend with Loam Pox. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and Matthew gave me a Dealer's Choice donation deck list, which is a great way to support the channel, by the way, and I'm going to use it to play one of the decks from the top 8 of Eternal Weekend North America. This is Loam Pox, and believe it or not, in this world of incredibly broken things and tons of combo, Smallpox came out on top and had a top 8 finish, and this was something I never would have expected. So Eumidian Hatchery gave this archetype a pretty big boost. The insect tokens that you can create from this can buy you a lot of time versus something like a Murktide Regent, an Atraxa, or another creature that doesn't have any sort of like trample or shadow that can push through these tokens. And it's not overly difficult to do something like make 4 tokens with the Eumidian Hatchery in a medium-paced game. And while I've tried this deck on the channel before, I haven't quite played a build that looks like this, because this build has main deck Hogaak. So this is an 8/8 trampler that is pretty hard to permanently answer unless you have access to exile-based removal like Swords to Plowshares. So this deck wants to make a couple of creatures via probably Eumidian Hatchery or a single Orcish Bowmasters can make 2 bodies for the purposes of Hogaak and dump a Hogaak into play. You have some plans such as Life from the Loam plus Wasteland that can take over a game. You have Malevolent Rumble to fuel your graveyard, which can make Goyfs bigger. And this is playing a whopping 3 copies of Witherbloom command, which seems kind of wild to me. This is a way for you to hit land drops in the face of destroying your own lands via Smallpox or using Wastelands and Ghost Quarters on your opponent's resources, but it also can do some stuff like kill a small creature, get that little bit of damage to go over the finish line. And it can destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. So it can hit a wide variety of things. It can hit some artifact mana, like a Lion's Eye Diamond on the other side of the battlefield. It can hit Tamiyo Planeswalker. There's a lot of things that this can do. And looking at this list, I'm surprised that it did as well as it did. Kudos to the pilot, Jacob Murray, for this finish. But, this isn't a pile of main deck graveyard hate. It has access to graveyard hate through 1 copy that you can tutor up with Urza's Saga. But ignoring Smallpox, there's not that much real removal in the deck. Fatal Push doesn't hit everything. Witherbloom Command doesn't hit everything. Grist requires you to have another creature for it to turn into removal. And nevertheless, this deck hit a top 8 finish. So some combination of the stuff that's here is actually quite powerful, and I want to see how it plays out for myself. There's some spicy stuff in the sideboard, such as Chain of Mephistopheles, and there's Voidmere, which I don't particularly like. I have felt that a lot of times the big mana artifact decks just have either a basic forest, a basic island, or planar nexus, so that this doesn't actually do what you want it to do. But maybe I'm wrong about it. So I want to hop into a league and see how this feels. I will say that I love the Toxic Deluges that are in the sideboard. Even though Energy isn't a top player in the metagame, I feel like Energy is a relatively popular deck, online in particular. So just having something that can clear out all those Guide of Souls, Ocelot, Pride, Cat tokens, all that sort of stuff all at once, like, I am a big fan of this. And I just want to see how this plays out. If you like this deck and you need some Hogaaks or some Grists to round it out, please consider getting them from my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. They're great. I love them a lot. I'm futzing with a new EDH deck. I want to mess with my mono red deck and I think change it to a new commander. And as soon as I get a little free time, probably next week, I'm going to put together a new deck, order all my cards, use my own promo code ThrabenU, and save 5% on my order. All right, let's battle. Okay, I'm keeping my opening hand here, and I have to decide exactly how I'm going to play it out. I think I want this Boseiju in the graveyard for if I can potentially bring it back with Life from the Loam later on, in case that becomes relevant in the matchup. So my opponent has mulligan to 6, and I'm going to go ahead and start off. It's going to be one of those days with a Thoughtseize. I think I'd take my opponent's Grist, leave them with Smallpox, and then just get a Grist going ASAP. So now I will do this. I'll surveil. Honestly, I'll take the land since I know that I'm going to be losing some land in the future. Oops, I crossed out a Life from the Loam there. I'm not going to forget that one. That one's a big deal. Opponent just plays a land and passes the turn. I'll go ahead and fetch. Slightly surprised my opponent didn't lead on the Eumidian Hatchery on 1 for immediate Smallpox value. So there's Grist. Grist plus. And I'll pass the turn. Probably get rid of this upkeep stop. I needed that when I was playing Dredge. An opponent will probably choose to surveil here. And they have their own Boseiju in graveyard. So now the hatchery comes down. And my opponent is just going to go for Life from the Loam immediately. You've got it. So I'll plus here. Mill another Eumidian Hatchery, which is a little annoying. I would like to draw my Eumidian Hatcheries in the face of double Smallpox. I will send on in for 1. So the big worry here is that my opponent manages to sneak a Grist into play to destroy my own Grist. There is a Smallpox, and I know another one of these is coming. I'll hold on to my other Grist. I'll sacrifice a token, sacrifice the Verdant Catacombs. My opponent gets a couple of 1/1s. They don't get to go directly into Grist, though. That's the good news here. Mox Diamond helps with that, though. Starting Boseiju. And Urza Saga as well. This is not looking great. I guess we're now on Malevolent Rumble. None of this is actually all that good. Wasteland is bad in the face of their Life from the Loam. I think I'm going to take Pithing Needle in the short term. I will go ahead and do Pithing Needle. I'm going to name Urza's Saga here. I think I'm going to go ahead and minus sacrifice this spawn, destroy one of their insects, and that way they don't have 2 black creatures immediately in play or something like a Hogaak. And if they use their Grist this turn to take out my Grist, I then play my second Grist, sacrifice this insect token, and take out their Grist, and I win that fight. It looks like they are going to just be loaming, though. They're just going to keep recurring the Eumidian Hatchery. That's fine. So now I have my own Life from the Loam, which is fine. If I want to use my Life from the Loam, I need to use it right now before they can search up their Singleton Spellbomb. I'm going to assume that they're playing the same list that I am. I'm going to take this as a draw 3 right now. So I will get a Wasteland, a Hatchery, a Boseiju. Now I think I'll just take 2 Hatcheries. So there's 2 mana. I'm fine with Grist plus. I think I will take the turn to Wasteland Urza Saga so that they can't find their Pithing Needle for my Grist. I will send in for 1. 13. You have a Bowmaster. This mirror is going to be wild. This is going to be a... Probably we're pretty close to timing out by the end of this match if it proceeds at this rate. Because neither one of us is going to be in a hurry. Is Boseiju on my Pithing Needle. So yeah, I'll use that ability. I have to keep in mind that Ghost Quarter is a thing. Wasteland is also a thing. I think I'm going to leave these in there. I think I'll pick up an actual Bayou. And they do Dredge. They've got access to Wasteland, Saga, Boseiju. I kept them off of spellbombing my graveyard. So I still have Loam. They still have a Smallpox. Saga, Boseiju, Wasteland. Sure. I can Loam something like Wasteland, Boseiju. If they play Saga. That hits fine. Alright. I think I am, air quotes, forced into dredging that. Oh, triple Wasteland? It's definitely double Wasteland. I think I will take a Boseiju for some flexibility after that. I want to get my hatchery down, so my hatchery is not much behind their hatchery. But I kind of can't let this get active. I think I am... Well, I could Boseiju this. Yeah, what if I go Grist plus play hatchery, Boseiju Saga, then I can get my own Eumidian Hatchery ticking up so that if they Smallpox, they don't just vastly outclass the number of permanents I have. Send in for 2. Opponent's at 10. I've activated Grist. We'll call that good. They're going to put a counter on Hatchery. I am aware that Hatchery is important. Insect token is going to crash in at my Grist, so I'm not really gaining loyalty. Ghost Quarter, sure. They are going to Ghost Quarter their own Hatchery for a handful of bodies. They're going to Boseiju my Hatchery. Yes, I'll use that ability. What fetches do I have? Verdant gets anything. I don't have other fetches. Pick up a Bayou. Opponent just says, I don't want to do this. Please release me. I'm having a great time. So, I think I take a regular draw. Ooh, I hit Witherbloom command. I'm into this. So let's cast this. Let's destroy a mana source and kill a creature. So there's bam and bam. Then I will plus a Grist. Go to combat. I send in with the insect token. I don't think I do. Yeah. Get opponent down to 5. Wasteland their underground mortuary. Make it harder for them to cast their spells. And I think I'm okay here. I wonder if the Drain 2 mode was better as the secondary mode on Witherbloom command there. Very possible that it was. Okay, there's my opponent's own Witherbloom command. And they're going to do Drain as their mode. Sure. So now my opponent can swing out, kill Grist. I'll play a new one and be in range of lethal attackers as well. There's a Eumidian Hatchery. You've got it. Am I dredging? I don't think I'm dredging. Ooh, Spellbomb. Yeah. I can go ahead and cycle that immediately. Target you. Draw a card. I will take a real draw. There's a Ghost Quarter. Sure. 1 swamp? No, 2 swamps, 1 forest. Is there a swamp in their exile zone? No, there isn't. So if I can take them off of green, though. So I'm definitely sending in for 4. I can take them off of green, and that's not bad. Let's do that. This game is wild. Okay, so they pick up a swamp, but I take them off of green. And then I will play Grist. I am fine immediately plussing. For the record, I believe that I was supposed to plus pre-combat so that if I hit Hogaak, I can cast Hogaak. Like, I'm only going to be milling 1 card. But if that card is Hogaak, it's kind of a big deal to cast it. Okay, there's the concession after a very, very long game. Whew. I could do this all day. I would be very tired. It's exhausting, but I could do this all day. This is fun. So, I'm into Goyf. I'm probably into Haywire Might to exile Urza's Saga. And then Toxic Deluge and Fatal Push are probably things that I will think about. I don't think I'm going to go Leyline Deep. Like, the graveyard absolutely matters, but I don't know that I want to go down a card to address it. I don't know, Thoughtseize is not great. I will probably get rid of my Thoughtseizes. I think I am into Toxic Deluge as a clean answer to Eumidian Hatchery. I don't know, this is put into graveyard from the battlefield. So I guess Leyline shuts that off. How do I feel about Leyline then? Because it's Eumidian Hatchery and Loam and Gack. A lot of the win conditions. And then I guess there's the next level of, is my opponent going to Leyline? And if so, do I want Force of Vigor, or is just like the Haywire Might enough? Bam. Bam, bam. Bam. That can get me Leyline of the Void. Let's try that. And this hedges slightly against my opponent having Leyline of the Void in their opening hand. This is some good, honest magic. Fuck yeah. Holy shit, this hand's great. I have 4 lands, so Smallpox isn't just getting me. I have a Leyline of the Void to start with. I have my Life from the Loam. I like this a lot. So my opponent will probably have between 1 and 3 answers to my Leyline of the Void. Verdant Catacombs goes away. Hatchery going away is fine. Okay, no, there it is. So there's a Haywire Might. There's Pithing Needle. I think we're going to play chicken with Haywire Might here. I believe that it was correct for my opponent to get rid of this on their turn. So now my opponent should go to their own turn without using Haywire Might. And I cost them this Mox Diamond mana on their next turn. 19. Yeah, so now they just have to hold this up. Malevolent Rumble. Not bad. I think I'm just going to hold up Wasteland and Orcish Bowmaster here. I could put a Pithing Needle on the stack and make things all sorts of fucking weird. I think I'll just pass the turn. Eumidian Hatchery ticks up. And we're just staring at each other. I'm just going to take the 1. I'm not going to try to ambush with Orcish Bowmasters or anything. 18. And opponent is passing the turn. This is fine. Oh, Mox Diamond's very good here. So let's go Mox Diamond. I think discard Urza Saga. Play land, play Malevolent Rumble. Yeah. Play land, play Malevolent Rumble. Oh, get Saga to hand. I'll pass turn. I'll let Hatchery tick up again, which is fine. Then I'll let my opponent untap. And I think I'll go ahead and do this in upkeep. So my whole goal here is to bully this Haywire Might and manipulate like priority and the stack and such in a way where I force my opponent to activate this Haywire Might to exile my Leyline of the Void, and then in response I take out their Eumidian Hatchery. This is something that I've been playing to for many, many turns. So opponent goes for Leyline, and then I will take out Eumidian Hatchery right now. My opponent ticks it up, Fatal pushes Bowmaster. Push ends up in exile. Eumidian Hatchery does not give creatures because the Leyline is still in play. And now I'm going to take over this game with Life from the Loam and Urza Saga. Yeah, opponent still doesn't have more lands. It is a good time to be me. Life from the Loam. Saga, Ghost Quarter, Wasteland. 1 and 2. There we go. I will play Urza's Saga. Force of Vigor. Sure, you've got it. That buys my opponent a little time. I want to now name something like Grist or Spellbomb here. My opponent's not getting to Grist anyway. I'm going to go ahead and cast this. I just want to protect my Life from the Loam. Because any mana source my opponent puts down, I can attack. I'd prefer that they did not have a basic land. There's a Boseiju. There's a Malevolent Rumble. Hey, there's a Spellbomb that I just shut off. That makes me feel smart. My opponent just takes a Bayou. Sure. I'd rather just draw here. Oh, Bowmasters is, like, surprisingly good. I'll do this. I will target the spawn. My opponent should sacrifice it in response so that I do not get that Orc token. And then I will take out their Boseiju. And I will just kind of keep them bottlenecked on mana. They can play Bayou and like dredge Life from the Loam and try to catch up. But I am kind of ahead on board. And if they are using all of their resources just to make their land drops, I think that comes out positive for me. So that will get them a Boseiju to hand. Do I want to dredge? I don't have my own Hogaaks to hit. I might just take a draw and not wasteland them. They've been bottlenecked on mana for so long, though. I can just get Urza Saga going. I can just try to win. Send on in. 14. Let's get Urza's Saga going. And if they want to deal with Urza's Saga, then that requires Boseijuing it or dredging into a wasteland. And if I successfully go through an entire Urza's Saga, I guess I was about to say I can get my own spell bomb, but that doesn't work right now because of my own Pithing Needle. Let's see if opponent's got a Grist. Goyf's actually scarier. It's a Grist, which is very good, but I can maybe leverage an Urza's Saga token to be okay versus that. Try to find action. Negative. I think I'm past bottlenecking my opponent on mana. Let's do this. I'm fine sending in at the Grist and losing one creature here, I think. This is fine. My opponent has milled over one of their Goyfs, and they're big. Alright, there are multiple Wastelands in the graveyard now. My opponent's going to get them back. But the Wasteland fight is not, like, the most productive. My opponent probably has to take this out, yeah. And I am going to start ticking this up. So I think I do dredge this time. So there's Boseiju, Urza's Saga, Urza's Saga. 1 and 2. Let's just force my opponent into destroying Urza's Sagas. Go to combat, attack Grist. I think with just this, I think I leave that. Maybe it's more productive to do both. Maybe it's more productive to do both. Could I have done this turn in a way that left up Boseiju? I don't think so. And now Grist can't minus to kill my construct token and still be around. But my construct token is now more vulnerable to Smallpox. Sure. At some point, I'm just going to break this all open with Eumidian Hatchery. My opponent's resources are targeted here, which is letting me make this into a problem. Yep. Okay, yep. And now I don't have to dredge on my own turn because I can just play the Urza Saga that is currently in my hand, allowing me to draw towards another reasonable card. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I think I do this. Combat. Send in at Grist. Ooh, opponent's got Trixies. They ping my construct token, which allows them to finish off my construct token with a block. That's fine. Now, bam, bam, Smallpox, discard a land, sacrifice the Eumidian Hatchery with 3 counters on it, get 3 friends, and I'll pass the turn with Boseiju available. Note that I can't destroy my own Eumidian Hatchery at instant speed with Boseiju. It does have to target my opponent's stuff. Now I have their Grist under a lot of pressure while I'm threatening to just Life from the Loam back Urza's Sagas for multiple turns in a row, while I continue to tick up my own Eumidian Hatchery. I don't think I dredge immediately, though. I think I take a draw. I have some really good draws. Another Smallpox is great, for example. Yeah, you can hit me with that. Yeah, you can hit me with that. That's fine. 12. Grist pluses. Opponent has their own Eumidian Hatchery. Okay. I'll take a draw. Boots are fine. There's Saga. Alright, you're going to Boseiju that immediately. That's fine. Yes. I'll get a Mortuary here. Wasteland can go to Graveyard. So there's Boots. There's Equip on Boots. This lets me kill Grist in the air. Send it Grist. Alright. Cool. So this is probably a closer game than it looks. I think I currently have the advantage. My Eumidian Hatchery is at a higher number. I have a Wasteland at the go. I have 4 power of flying in the air. My opponent dredges Loam. And they've got good stuff in their graveyard. I wonder if they're going to need to Wasteland themselves for Eumidian Hatchery purposes. I hope that I win this game. If I don't win this game, we're going to have to play fast and loose in a game 3. The life from the Loam mirror gets a little weird sometimes. I'm very glad that this game is on camera, though. This is a good one. There's Boseiju from hand, and then there's a Leyline of the Void. So that means that my Eumidian Hatchery is not as good. I can dredge for an Urza Saga. I don't think that's great. I'm going to go ahead and take a draw here. That's not what I am looking for. I think I'm going to go ahead and Boseiju Leyline, tap Eumidian Hatchery, play Wasteland, Wasteland Eumidian Hatchery now, get an extra friend, equip an extra friend, go to Punchies. Yes, let's go. Whew. That was a hell of a match. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you want to see upcoming sets, if you want to understand commander brackets, or if you just want an awesome place to store all, and I mean all, of your deck lists, Moxfield is the place. You can organize all of your decks by folders, and you can even change the views. You like visual, they've got that. You like text, they've got that. Check out my Moxfield Pro Field if you want to see all, and I mean all, of the decks that I've been cooking up. So I've kept this hand, and it's purely, is Wasteland good, the game. I will discard one of the Wastelands. Thought sees my opponent. Hope to see a pile of non-basic lands over there. Okay, fuck, basically. Prismatic endings are the best thing right now. The counterbalance is annoying long term, and this is gonna be a long game. I'm gonna lose this to Prismatic ending. I don't think I can keep Smallpox. What a bad set of things to see on the other side of the table there, though. I guess in the short term, they don't have the white mana for Prismatic ending. I guess that's my good news. We're not gonna play another Mox Diamond here. And I think I passed the turn. There's some argument to just play the Orcish Bowmasters immediately before my opponent can force a will it on the stack. Yeah. Ping you. 19. Malevolent Rumble is not bad. Let's do that. Ooh, I will take a Goyf. I will cast a Goyf at the cost of this Eldrazi spawn. There's Force of Will pitching Force of Will. That's a shame. It is what it is. We didn't walk into a Snapcaster Mage there and lose the Bowmaster, so that's nice. Still no white mana. Boseiju as the draw. Sending in for 2. Opponent is at 14. And I think I'll just hold Boseiju. My opponent is a counterbalance deck. Longer term, I would like to find a Life from the Loam for Urza's Saga recursion. Oops, all Boseijus. Send in for 2. Opponent's at 12. I will just drop one of these since they are legendary, and I now have 2 of them. Cryptic Coat. You've got it. My opponent can't return this immediately. I Boseiju that. My opponent gets white mana. Let's take my draw step. I probably can't use all of this mana anyway. I'll take my redraw real quick. But I think I am Boseijuing Cryptic Coat. Okay. Green and 1. Boseiju Cryptic Coat. There's a basic Plains. Given how flooded I am, I think it is worth doing this test. I think there's more than one basic Plains in there. There's a Swords, that's fine. But let's find out. There is. I think there's a good chance that my game is going to start falling apart. Like, it's turn 6, I haven't found a Life from the Loam, I haven't found an Urza Saga, I haven't found a Eumidian Hatchery, and my opponent was on all basic lands. Not a great start for me. Yeah, I was about to say, this is the point of the game where my opponent can play something stupid like Jace the Mind Sculptor. And lo and behold, something stupid like Jace the Mind Sculptor. My opponent's probably doing Stoneblade nonsense. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, there's an Urza Saga. A touch later than I would like it to be, but it's here. I'll destroy the Tundra. I don't think it does a lot, but it's fine to do it. Jace gets to Brainstorm again. Now there's Teferi too. There's gonna bounce my Urza Saga. Kind of time walk me there. Malevolent Rumble is a fine pickup. It's not overly exciting, though. Exciting enough. There are Snapcaster Mages over there. Alright. Okay, yep. Cryptic Coat was an indicator of Stoneforge Mystic, and we have every Planeswalker known to mankind. Got it. Sure. Another Jace the Mind Sculptor off of Narset, which may or may not still be in my opponent's hand. Guess I can keep playing. I don't know. I probably don't beat Kaldra plus 3 Planeswalkers. Like, I can Pithing Needle one of them, but I don't know. There's only 3 cards in hand. I think the situation is it could be worse, but it's pretty bad. I'm gonna keep playing for another. Oh fuck! There's back to fuck. No. Okay. Opponent is clearly prepared for the Loam Pox meta that is to come. I am not great against this deck. Like, I have a Pithing Needle for Planeswalkers, and otherwise I'm really hoping to stop my opponent from casting them. Answers to Back to Basics, and maybe another threat. Get a push out of there. I think I'm going to take Spellbomb out, despite the fact that Snapcaster Mage is in my opponent's deck. I don't know. Can I really get rid of push if my opponent is a Stoneforge Mystic deck? Maybe I go down on Witherbloom Command instead. Yeah. Smallpox answers Stoneforge sometimes. Let's go down another Rumble and keep another Fatal Push for just quick Stoneforge starts. I don't think I'm going to win this matchup. This feels problematic for me. This is not exciting. This does not get off the ground quick enough, I think. Whereas this does. This is turn 2 Grist. I'll keep this. I think getting rid of Force of Vigor and keeping Fatal Push for a Stoneforge. And then I'm going to have to think about whether or not I want a basic land with this due to Back to Basics, or if I just want the Surveil land because I don't have a lot going on in my hand. I want the Surveil land. I'll take Bowmasters. I will Mox Diamond. I think discard Wasteland. And I am just going to shove the Planeswalker immediately in hopes that it resolves, and it does. That does not mean that it is here forever, because, like, my opponent is a Prismatic Ending deck. They have things that can just cleanly answer this. There's Stoneforge, that's why we kept some Fatal Push. Fortunately, it can just, like, get the very castable Cryptic Coat. But I still have to answer this Stoneforge out of respect of other things being around. I'm going to keep that in hand, because we know Back to Basics is a thing now, and we know Cryptic Coat is coming. Third land drop. There's Cryptic Coat. I'm just going to take that out immediately, I think. Can't beat the long-term dirtle that represents. Alright, what's going on over there? Oh, that's a lot of shit. The Jace is the scariest thing. Let's take the Jace. There's some other lines where I can try to thread this a little better. I think I'm just going to minus, do this, take out the cloak creature. Oh, fuck. I thought the cloak gave it ward. My bad. I should not have done that. Thought by destroying the cloak I was getting rid of the ward. I misremembered that. I had better lines. I can hold up the Bowmaster, wait for the Brainstorm, and force the Swords to Plowshares off immediately. There's Back to Basics after I used Boseiju. Hate that for me. I can still play functional magic, luckily. Maybe eventually I hit Life from the Loam. 16. Alright. Well, do this in response. In your face. At least the white is tapped right now. Then, okay, well now opponent has white again. The opponent can Swords Bowmaster and then minus on a token. Oh no, minus on a Mox Diamond. Sure. And dress down to just draw a card. Sure. Alright, bam and bam. Go ahead and go to combat. Send it to Fairy. Send it face. Send it face. If you got a Solitude and a white card, you got a Solitude and a white card. Then Grist plus again. As soon as we draw a land, I can get this Bowmaster going. It is now another Jace. And we could just Grist minus to kill Planeswalkers as long as my Grist doesn't eat a Prismatic Ending. Did not eat a Prismatic Ending. Fantastic. I guess there's also lines where I just attack Jace for 4, and then Jace just dies that way, and I don't have to use the Grist. This is fine. This still results in the Jace dying. I know that my opponent has Cauldra again. I will go ahead and just Grist minus, sack one of these, destroy Stoneforge, attack Jace for 3. Jace dies, play Mox Diamond, discard this, pass turn with Bowmasters available. Oh god, we can just do that, huh? Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. That was not even on my radar, I'm not going to lie to you. So my Grist just dies. Then I can do this, get my opponent to 10, and then be attacking for 5. Yeah. This isn't quite lethal. It's close to lethal, but this can just be held back, and then my opponent is 1 away from death. Malevolent Rumble. I'll take the Goyf. Like, as cool as the other basic land is, I already have 2 mana, like 2 permanent mana sources, and then a spawn on top of that. I don't know if my opponent can fetch with Prismatic Vista and be okay. I don't know what the rest of their hand is going to be like for those purposes. The Snapcaster Mage, or Swords, that can take out the Bowmaster to let my opponent cast whatever cantrips they have. Then Prismatic Ending, sure. Wow. We're going to go ahead and Ponder. I've got a Pithing Needle. I think I wait until there is a Planeswalker in play. I'm unfortunately passing the turn here. My opponent might have stabilized by casting that Cauldra. Like, now they are relatively safe. Even if I answer the Germ, they can re-equip the Cauldra to a Snapcaster Mage. Are my Witherbloom commands in or out? Out. Alright. Well, here's a new basic. Grab that Forest. Throw down a larger creature. This will probably just eat white removal or a Force of Will or whatever. Don't expect this to stick and make it around for the attack. Even if it does make it around for the attack, the Germ token just eats that. Prismatic Ending, yeah. Opponent fetches post-combat. Sure, I'll just keep this Ghost Quarter, I think. I don't like this staring contest. Don't think I'm favored in it. Oh, that's neat. Let's do a Hogaak. Maybe I should just outright Needle Jace or Teferi right now. Irrelevant. Oh, it's just Brainstorm. I wonder if that should have happened with Hogaak on the stack. They have mana to actively Force of Will. Batterskull. That's bad. A land drop. There's Eumidian Hatchery. And maybe do some cool stuff. Hogaak doesn't get to attack in through Cauldra right now. I think I need to do this. Name Batterskull. Don't get to shut off a Planeswalker anymore. But now this keeps this from getting equipped to the Cauldra and creating a super creature that I can't kill. Okay, Life from the Loam is great. Let's get Saga, Saga, Saga. Here we go. Force of Will. That buys a turn. Another back to basics. Sure. Dredge Life from the Loam. Let's do Saga, Saga, Boseiju this time for variety. Saga number 1 in play. Prismatic Vista. And we're chilling. I won't dredge here. Oh, maybe I do. Nah. Thoughtseize. I think I'll ignore that. Get this ticking up. Pass the turn. Our set's fine. The dig could be scary, though. Because the dig could reveal something that gets rid of my Pithing Needle and makes this fall apart before I overwhelm my opponent, either with construct tokens or by just getting through both copies of Back to Basics with Boseiju. Meltdown, sure. Then let's just take that out. Sure. I'm fine doing this. Dredge Life from the Loam. Do a search. Haywire Might is fine. I will Haywire Might. It changes my plans. Whatever. I will exile the Cauldra. We'll deal with everything else later. So now I get through with Hogaak. I did not expect to win that one. Down a lot of clock for doing it. So do I need Witherbloom Command for Snapcaster Mage blockers? I hope not. Do I want Chains? I could play Chains. I could play Chains. Do one small flip-flop there. I could also just take out all of the copies of Thoughtseize and play like Rumble, Witherbloom, Witherbloom. Whether Boom Command is burn that goes to face. I think no. There's probably some finessing of number of Thoughtseize versus number of Malevolent Rumble to be done here. This is fine. I don't know that it's full on good, but it's fine. I can get a Eumidian Hatchery going from very, very early on. Very fast shuffle there. I'll pass my turn. Opponent has selection on their own turn. And fetches. I'm just going to be lazy here. There's a Boseiju, that's fine. I think I'm more interested in casting Malevolent Rumble right now than I am in casting Bowmaster. Ooh, shit, let's get Chains. And I'll pass turn. I really just want a bunch of crap in the graveyard so that I can cast Bowmaster into Hogaak. Volk, Stoneforge, I'm not answering that right now. Opponent gets Cauldra, sure. Wasteland Volk, 5 cards in graveyard. 2, Bowmaster face, Hogaak, 1, 2, A1, bam, bam, bam. I'll leave Wasteland in yard. There's Hogaak. So now opponent can leave back Cauldra to stop my attacks, but then I can start going on other axes. I'll have 4 mana for my turn. This will do a Bowmaster ping. Go to face. Alright. Let's see what else is going on over there. So this will get that Cauldra into play. And take the Teferi, which shuts off the Force of Will. And then stick a Goyf that my opponent has to swords. My long-term plan is Haywire Might, answer Cauldra. And Boseiju a Batterskull if my opponent gets one. Prismatic Ending is not the end of the world. I want to take Teferi. Drop Saga, drop Goyf, and pass. So much for this Chains that I picked up. Opponent fetches. New Stoneforge. There's Batterskull. Again, we've got that covered. Mox Diamond is fine. I don't even think I play that. My opponent has shown me Meltdown. So Boseiju costs 1 mana. The Construct tokens don't mean all that much right now. I think I'm going to give up the Construct token to drop Chains. Call it a turn. So my opponent drops Batterskull, which I'm going to destroy right now. And if my opponent draws back to basics for turn, this is incredibly awkward for me. But I don't have to worry about the Batterskull bounce ability here. Alright, they take out my Goyf. They take out my Hogaak. They are on the offensive. I will take that damage. So I will go bam and bam. I'll make my Construct token. I will get Haywire Might. I will Haywire Might. Exiling Cauldra. Gain some life. I'll put a Wasteland into play. Send in for 2. You can trade a Stoneforge Mystic for this if you want. And you want. That's fine. And now I have 6 creatures queued up for end of turn. That's fine. Alright, so my opponent ends up discarding a Brainstorm there. Ping your face. There's a new Stoneforge Mystic. Getting Cryptic Coat, sure. End of turn. Destroy my Eumidian Hatchery. Make a bunch of friends. There's 6 friends. There's Verdant Catacombs. This can stay a 1/1, that's fine. Surveilling is better. All the ones that fly can crash in. Opponent's at 8. Cryptic Coat comes into play. And that's good enough for my opponent to concede the game. We have won once again. I did not think that we were going to win that matchup. I was worried about all of those Planeswalkers, but apparently we've got the tools to do it. GG's. Alright, I've got a pretty medium opening hand here that I think I'm going to err on the side of keeping, and opponent says hello from Germany. Tundra. Well, we're going to Wasteland our opponent. That's for sure. So hopefully our opponent doesn't have too many lands. We have some relevant cards. So I can get a Spell Bomb going to insulate. Oh, no lands. Alright, well. You know. This is sicko shit. Alright. Love it when a plan comes together. Alright, opponent is just passing the turn. I think that I'm going to go ahead and get this going immediately, because this can represent Pithing Needle a few turns from now. Alright, opponent's got an Urza's Saga, which I will Smallpox away. That's fine. So end of turn. Bowmasters in your face. I'll draw, do the thing. Mox Diamond is not bad here. Send in 17. I might just discard the Mox Diamond instead. Yeah, I might just discard the Mox Diamond instead. Let's Smallpox. Ooh, that's a Force of Will. That's a very good Force of Will. Opponent's got to have something over there if it's not lands, right? So opponent's Saga ticks up. Okay, cool. So now I think I am fine doing this, getting the Pithing Needle, putting that on the Shuko. This makes it less likely that I need to use Boseiju on that. I think meaning that I can discard my Boseiju. Bam. Bam. Send in for 2. Now I will use Malevolent Rumble to potentially just find a wasteland. To find a Eumidian Hatchery. Pass turn there. So this Urza Saga is now going away. It's another Shuko. It's another Urza Saga. You've got it. Opponent's mana is just not working out here. Another Bowmasters. That's fine. Without thinking about this too much, I believe that my opponent is dead next turn. Bowmasters, your face. Make a friend. Go to combat. Swing all. Don't need to attack with that. There's 8 more damage. Opponent is at 5. I've got the graveyard covered while Shuko is still off. So, like, it took 6 more turns, but this is a game that just turn 1 Wasteland on the Tundra probably just instantly won. And it did indeed, as my opponent never got colored mana that entire game, leaving literal 7 cards stranded in their hand. Now I've got to figure out what I'm doing in this matchup. I find this deck exceptionally difficult to sideboard against because you have graveyard-oriented combo and non-graveyard-oriented combo in the same deck with overlapping pieces. I'm pretty darn good at fighting against Shuko with Boseiju and Pithing Needle and Witherbloom Command. Nomads in Core is another thing. And just, like, answering the Nadu body matters too. I don't know what to do. I'm going to assume that I become less threat dense, and I need to become more reactive. Like, I can kill my opponent with Eumidian Hatchery and Urza Saga tokens if I can just dedicate most of my slots towards stopping their combo. Like, I can do this. Still be thinking about Fatal Push and Chains as well. Maybe we're just not Malevolent Rumbling. Maybe this is just full on. I have 8 win conditions in the form of my lands and a couple of Barrowgoyfs to make sure that I don't get just beaten to death by random bullshit. Could even think about Force of Vigor beyond this for Urza Saga. No, my green count's terrible with this configuration. No Force of Vigor. Believe? I believe. Do you believe? I have a way to not die immediately and a very good disruption card. And assuming that I drag this game on in any capacity, I will find green mana. Oh, we have to deal with Tamiyo too. Well, hopefully we get Tamiyo with Smallpox next turn. Ooh, Daze. Life's really bad if my opponent just brainstorms this turn. Well, I guess I have Witherbloom Command. Maybe it's not as bad as I think. Basic Island comes back down. Yeah, it is the Brainstorm. So assuming I hit a green source in the next couple of turns, I can try to use Witherbloom Command to take out Tamiyo. Tamiyo pluses to 4. It'll push a turn late. I'm still going to Smallpox here, I think. I think Toxic Deluge is now not super viable. Back a Swamp. There goes a Nomads. And then hopefully I just draw a green source. Witherbloom Command Tamiyo. And life's good. Uh-oh. Tamiyo will now be at 8. There's a Brainstorm. Given that, there's now a just good chance that my spell just full-on does not resolve, even if I cast it. Tamiyo to 8. And Hedge Maze. Opponent has Serenity. That's really good to know about. Alright. Do you have the counterspell? Bayou, Witherbloom command, destroy target permanent, get a land back. Alright, a counterspell wins the game. Oh shit! No counterspell! Let's fucking go! Alright, now let's not get too carried away with celebrating, because it is very easy for my opponent to go Shuko or Nomads into Cephalid Illusionist, and I can just die. But if I don't die immediately, Smallpox plus Life from the Loam probably carries this game. Yeah, not dead. It's very lucky that I'm not dead, honestly. Because even a daze does it there. Urza's Saga. Good land is good. I'll make my own land drop so that I'm not dazable. And then I will Smallpox. I believe sacrificing my basic, then I can keep Bloodstained Mire in play or enabling Fatal Push on a potential Nadu. Hey, a potential Nadu. I can Fatal Push my way through a couple of Urza Saga construct tokens if I need to, but I would prefer to destroy that land before it tutors up Shuko. And it looks like my opponent is just passing. I'll Surveil here then. My own Urza Saga. I think I need to say no to that. Hitting a Wasteland would be really good right now. Negative. Life from the Loam with 3 targets. Bam and bam. I think I need to leave 2 copies of Fatal Push available, unfortunately. So there's construct token number 1. I just have to be prepared for the timeline where my opponent has Nadu and Shuko available this turn. Ghost Vacuum instead. Sure. I'm okay versus this stuff. Like, obviously sad to lose the Life from the Loam, but not the end of the world. And I think I have enough mana where I don't need to Fatal Push on my own turn. And I'll just hold, leaving this Verdant in play. Deck. Not what I'm going for. We've flooded very hard here. Ponder is fine. That resolves. It's probably naming Urza Saga. I'm correct. As much as I want to keep holding this, I don't know that I can just get hit for 4 damage per turn cycle here. I just have nothing. Now that I'm not holding Revolt for Fatal Push, I'm just going to fetch a land out of the deck. That's rough. I'll make my land drop and pass. We have Stone Cold Nothing, unless I hit something like a Boseiju to get rid of Pithing Needle, in which case these Urza Sagas are on. I don't think we are going to get to this point, but you see my opponent putting a creature under Ghost Vacuum. If my opponent does get to 6 mana, it is possible that they can put in a combo piece off of Ghost Vacuum. It looks like they've got either a bunch of reactive stuff or some things that are too expensive to cast, like Nadu right now. A Thoughtseize. That is not what I am looking for right now. We're going to draw a card. I'm going to Haywire Might, Thoughtseize you, figure out what is going on over there. My opponent might have some combo pieces in hand that they are just holding. Bunch of Nadus. Prismatic Ending. Ending doesn't matter. Nadus are playable and a problem. I think I'm still taking out a Nadu despite the fact that my opponent has 2. I'll put an Urza Saga into play, and it is my intention to Haywire Might a Pithing Needle so that Urza Saga is online. Ghost Vacuum is now a long-term problem, as it has Nadu and Nomads under it. There's the Tundra, and there's the Nadu. I think I have enough mana that I can wait to Haywire Might until after I have drawn a card. Leyline. Humorously, with that to draw, the answer is no, I don't, because it's 4 mana for Leyline, 1 mana for Activate, and then 3 of my lands for anything else. I guess I am not playing the Leyline immediately. Alright, we'll take another thing out of Graveyard. Land drop 4 of 6 needed for Ghost Vacuum. I'll take some fair mid-range damage in the air. Haywire Might, Pithing Needle. Gain 2. Turn on Urza's Saga. I think I only have 1 fetchable land in my deck. I'm just going to go ahead and grab that. I really can't afford to draw more land right now. Perfect timing deck, thank you. So activate this. I can do a Spell Bomb as a redraw. I think I'm just going to do Boots to race. And I will start ticking up Eumidian Hatchery, I think. There's a ley line. Opponent can Force of Negation this if they want. I don't even know that they should. Like, they have Nadu, so if they draw a combo piece, like, they just combo off anyway. They don't need Cephalid Illusionist combo here with the Nadu in play. I'm going to crash in for 7. Fully just going to die to my opponent drawing something that combos with Nadu. I can take a redraw off a Spellbomb instead to try and get something that helps with this. I am under threat of dying to Ghost Vacuum now. Alright, they're gonna just take out a token. If they've got the extra mana, I think you do the one that is currently equipped instead. Alright. Not looking for these extra mana sources. Discard that. I'll hold this as a bluff. Send in for 4. Opponent's at 7. Opponent fetches. They did not Ghost Vacuum. I think they should have Ghost Vacuumed a Tameo under there. I will take 3. I'm at 5. That's a land drop. The Cavern doesn't matter innately, but the Ghost Vacuum does. Is sorcery only? That's sorcery only. They missed it. Hell yeah. Tick up? I think tick up. Goyf. Goyf. Oh, if I tick up, I can't Toxic Deluge Nadu. I guess that's a bad idea anyway. Goyf! Goyf! With haste. Holy shit. Work! Work, damn it! Oh my god. I think we absolutely stole a game. Ugh. Oh my god. Of course, Ghost Vacuum Ultimate is sorcery. Yes, yes it is, and I have made that mistake myself as well. Opponent gives us the GGs, and thanks for the games. We're 3-0, but we absolutely just barely got our butt over the line there. Alrighty. Opening hand here is okay. I think I get to play Orcish Bowmasters 2 turns in a row and then start doing Urza's Saga things. I have very little ability to deviate from my plan, unfortunately. We're playing against Painter. We're going to just take a Bayou here. I have a Mox Diamond. If my opponent is red and has Blood Moon, I will at least have access to 1 of my colors at any given time. 19. Alright. I'm going to give up 1 point of damage to be able to Bowmaster a Goblin Welder if my opponent plays one this turn. Saga ticks up. Ancient Tomb. Sure. So that is a 2/2 token. Bowmaster Ping does not get rid of. And I think I would rather make my own token than hold back Bowmaster as a combat trick. Boots. Those don't do anything yet. I'll send in with the Orc. I'll trade with the Saga token if my opponent wants to. I don't think they should do that, and I don't think they will do that. My opponent makes their friend. They've got a 2/2. Now, I think I need to respond here so my Urza's Saga does not eat a Pithing Needle. If they've got something like a Shadow Spear, that's pretty darn good to pick up here. A Lotus Petal. Another Urza's Saga. That's scary. New Bowmasters. I don't think we're doing anything with that right now. So bam and bam. That's a 4/4. I will Pithing Needle, and I get to choose one of Grindstone and Urza's Saga here. Grindstone is the thing that kills me instantly. This Urza Saga might beat me long term. I don't know, I've got Hogaak. Yeah, I think I'm just going to name Grindstone. And I think I'm going to leave an Urza's Saga in the yard when I cast this, rather than attacking with 1/5/5 immediately. Their Urza's Saga goes up to 2. Alright, they are red. Spirit Guide, double Spirit Guide, triple Spirit Guide. The One Ring. Yes. So now they can make their construct without taking Ancient Tomb damage. Draw some cards. I can't Bowmaster ping their face, but I can Bowmaster and put some damage on a token. Was not expecting triple Spirit Guide. Smallpox? Going down to a single mana source on my end is kind of rough. Not sure that Smallpox is better than just playing Orcish Bowmasters for more direct damage to face and trying to kill my opponent next turn. Yeah. My opponent goes to 9, then 7, and I really hope there's not a Shadow Spear over there. There's a Soul Guide Lantern. That's fine. Alright, opponent is chilling. Plays a mountain. I will use my mana here. Play a Bowmaster. In your face. One ring draw is not super on the table right now. Opponent is at 6. Fatal Push is quite good. I will go ahead and Fatal Push a token. I will play Lava Spur Boots. And that's good enough for my opponent to concede. Oof, threaded the needle there. That was very scary. The triple Spirit Guide 1 ring could have gone south. It didn't. But, my opponent could, draw into Fury, take out 3 of my creatures, and then I don't have pressure anymore. I think Void Mirror is probably unplayable here. I don't think that I can do that in the face of the basic mountains that my opponent is going to have. I'm into Force of Vigor, Toxic Deluge. I think I like Goyf just as something that can gain life. I'm into interaction here. This is probably more about playing to the board than anything else. I think Thoughtseize can go. I don't think I want Leyline. I think I'm okay with Spellbomb clearing the graveyard, and then I try to use things that look like Bowmaster and Witherbloom Command to take out Goblin Welders. But this is too many cards. Maybe I don't get to play Boots. Maybe Boots is just becoming this. I could give up some speed and take out some Mox Diamonds, and that lets me play a high quantity of good cards. I still have 26 lands. I'll usually hit all of my land drops. I leave a Mox Diamond as an Urza Saga tutor target. It means that I can't Smallpox or Witherbloom Command on 1. Maybe that's okay. This feels weird. I can't tell if I'm doing something smart or stupid. 2 lands, Life from the Loam, multiple pieces of interaction. This is fine. Ancient Tomb, Immediate Pithing Needle, Wasteland in the Dark? Wasteland in the Dark. And opponent's just going to let that mana empty. So I have potentially a game that I can play on basic lands. I can Witherbloom away a Pithing Needle. Immediate Karn is really rough. Not the best versus Planeswalkers. Karn tutors. Getting Coding. Sure. I think that means that I just play out 2 fetches. And then attempt to, Bowmasters this. And go from there. There is the Coding. Lotus Petal? Fable is fine. It means that I'm not as good at attacking that Karn, though. Urza Saga now comes down, which can't be wastelanded. Karn pluses on nothing. I'll fetch. I think these are now double Bayous. Do Bowmaster. King a Karn. Opponent can use Liquimetal Coating as Rishadan Port in my upkeep. They do. This means that I have 2 mana to use on my turn. So this is what I want to do next turn. I would like to secure a land drop this turn. I can do with Witherbloom, Command, or Life from the Loam. So, bam, Witherbloom Command, shrink a creature, return a land. Yeah, and yeah. I own Urza Saga. No, I think I just need persistent mana here. I'll just take a Verdant Catacombs back. I'm going to send at Karn for 2. My opponent could block with a Goblin Shaman token if they really, really, really want to save a point of loyalty. That keeps Karn from tutoring, if that was something my opponent wanted to do. My opponent will just probably choose not to do anything with Fable. Yep. Alright, I'm losing the Forest to Karn. Shaman attacks in. The Urza Saga token will be a 1, 2, 3, 4/4. My attacks in are not amazing here. Magus of the Moon instead. Yeah. And Painter. So now my opponent has infinite Urza Saga Machine. and I don't get to Grist. I can Toxic Deluge. I can Hogaak. Alright. Land drop. Hogaak. I'll leave the basic in there. Then Toxic Deluge for 3 life. That kills Painter and keeps Painter Grindstone from being assembled immediately. I'm fucking fighting, folks. I'm just out here doing my best. A lot of things going against me here, right? Like, Ensnaring Bridge is a thing that could happen. Oh, that's a Grindstone. Hope I'm not just dead. Fuck, I'm just dead. 1 floating mana, 3 total mana for Grindstone, target me. We put up a hell of a fight given circumstances. GG. I think I'm relatively happy with how I've sideboarded. I could go down the last Mox Diamond and play Lava Spur Boots or Thoughtseize in that spot. I could see it. Miser's Thoughtseize. This just has Urza Saga as its only land. That is not going to do it for me. Oh my god, deck. No! We are going to 5. 5's not very good. We're keeping it, but it's not very good. I'm going to throw away 1 Grist for sure. I'm throwing away a 3-drop here. I think I'm going to do the Grist. Hatchery and pass. I think the way that I win this game is by getting a blowout with Toxic Deluge or by top decking. Well, yeah. Alright. I have no agency against that on a mull to 5. Either I draw a basic swamp or I don't. Alright. 2 red mana. Opponent has an Urza Saga, and that's going to enter with a counter, but it's not going to keep ticking up. 17. 3 mana for something. A Fable. Yeah, and these, again, are mountains right now, so I can't Fatal Push. This game is fully outside of my control. And maybe knowing that my opponent has access to Blood Moon effects, I need to keep in the Moxen to have more outs to this exact situation. But it kind of feels like I just need a pile of value-oriented cards if I'm going to be competitive here. We're dead. I'll keep going. Like, I can still, get a 3-for-1 with the Toxic Deluge if I hit exactly basic Swamp, my 1 in 52 chance. I think once my opponent untaps one more time, I just don't have outs. Yeah, that's too much. Opponent tutors up the 1 ring. Alright, we did not play Magic the Gathering in that last game. We just only saw Urza Sagas as our lands there. GG's. Okay, I'm willing to keep this hand. I don't know how to play it. I don't know whether I discard a Wasteland or the second Eumidian Hatchery to Mox Diamond. I'm like 50% to just draw more mana, which makes keeping Wasteland kind of nice. I have to make the decision immediately because I'm on the play, and I want to Bowmaster on 1 into either Goyf or Grist on turn 2, depending on what the situation is. Probably Grist on turn 2. Okay, I think I am going to discard a Eumidian Hatchery here and keep the Wasteland. Then we'll play the other Eumidian Hatchery and pass the turn. This is the timeline in which keeping the other Eumidian Hatchery is better, where I get Wastelanded, because then I have both colors for Grist. Ping your face. But again, I'm roughly 50% to draw a land, and I've got, a Delver worth of power in play now, so this is not the worst. Ooh, nice. So we'll just throw down another Bowmaster immediately. Send at face. Punchies 4/4. Opponent is at 14. Basic Plains. Sure. I'll send in for damage here. Yeah. You can Swords one of these. That's fine. Yeah, they're choosing to Swords the 2/2 token. Opponent takes 3. I think I play Goyf immediately, acting under the assumption that it will be bigger next turn when it attacks from a Grist activation. My opponent is doing fair, like, Stoneforge Mystic stuff. I'm probably going to overwhelm them. Sure, so you can take out my Wasteland. I'll say yes. I'll pick up a basic Swamp. So there's a Grist. I'm gonna minus. I think I sacrifice a Bowmaster. Destroy White Orchid Phantom. Send in for 5. Trigger Goyf, which is currently a 3/4. Now it's a 5/6. Even if I don't hit the creature there, this is still hopefully fine. And it's turn 4, and my opponent is already at 6 life, facing down lethal. I need to remove my Goyf. Got red as their flex color rather than black, which is interesting. Alright, they've got a Solitude. An Ephemerate here could be big. They do not have Ephemerate. But this will buy time. And it is a Samwise. Okay, so they are dirtling. So they can get a Solitude back. Sure. So this is an X1 creature. I can just attack into that. And be perfectly content with that. Yeah. Opponent's just gonna take it. I will plus, make a friend. Do I take out their red or their Caracas? Kinda just want to Pithing Needle Caracas and keep them off of red. Yeah. Yeah. And then we'll pass the turn. Can't be blocked by creatures with greater power, but they're not a creature with greater power. Malevolent Rumble. Let's do that to plan my turn. We'll get a Eumidian Hatchery, the illusion of choice. Put that into play. I could minus, and then attack for 3 points of damage. I don't think I want to do that because it's possible that a Felia comes in during the combat step here as a blocker. Okay, so my opponent's going to take 2, go to 2, then I will Grist plus, and let's see if there's the Felia. What my opponent needs to stay competitive. No, it is another Samwise. Sure. So my opponent can return a Samwise, and now they can loot, which is safe. My Bowmasters is not in play, but I don't know if they can attack and stay alive, but they're going for it. Discarding a Caracas. This is attacking my Grist. I think I just let Grist take the hit. It's also viable to use the Eldrazi spawn token there as a blocker. I don't think I want to block this and then let my opponent get more Samwise value. Let's tick up a Hatchery. Mox Diamond is not good. This is a lethal attack through another Samwise. It is a Solitude. Pitching the Samwise. And a Felia. That's not great. So my opponent can go to 1 here. I'll make another thing with Grist. And hopefully I don't just like bottom out, draw lands, and die. Now my opponent gets to draw and discard. Felia is blinking out a token. Both of those are going at Grist, so even if I block, Grist is dead. So be it. Opponent is still dead on board to the Insect token, so their last card has to be live. And there's no Caracas tricks here. That is Pithing Needled. Pick up Eumidian Hatchery. I mean, show me your trick. It is Legend ruling a Felia. So this saves me this Insect token in the... Oh, they chose the wrong Felia. So if they pick the untapped Felia, they survive for a turn. But they did not. So we win. GG's. That was surprisingly close for how much we were obliterating our opponent early on. When you are a deck that is 50% mana, sometimes you don't get what you need. So I would like fair stuff that can disrupt what my opponent is doing. I absolutely want these 5 cards. I think this Spellbomb is going to go, despite the fact that my opponent has some minimal graveyard synergies with Samwise. I'm just not going for the hand here, mostly going for stuff that is in play. Because we didn't see it, but I'm assuming that like Ocelot Pride, Guide of Souls, that sort of stuff is there. This might just be slow. This is fine. I'm worried that my opponent just gets out in front of me sometimes. The Mox Diamond start that I had was very helpful. Okay, if Bowmasters is good, this hand is solid. If it's not, the hand's a little awkward. My Smallpox is not immediately castable. That's fine. I can potentially Bowmasters that. I can just Bowmasters that. I think I'm going to Mox Diamond. I'm going to discard Wasteland here. Yeah. I'm just going to do it now. I think I'm going to do it off of basic. We'll just do this. We'll take out the Ocelot Pride. Now, next turn, I can't Smallpox and Fatal Push, but I can Fatal Push. Ooh, Witherbloom Command as well. I think I'm going to go ahead and attack into a flash creature. I've got Fatal Push backing this up here. So there's the flash creature. There's the fatal push on it. That means that I don't get to Witherbloom command this turn. So mana's slightly awkward here. But I've answered my opponent's first 2 creatures, and I can potentially answer the next one as well. I have 2 things that maybe answer my opponent's creatures. Yes. Opponent has a follow-up. Samwise. Sure. Then targets Marsh Flats. And this is an X1, so I can just take this out. Oh, nice. So I will Witherbloom command. Let's kill a creature and get a land back. We'll do this using our colored mana, and then this can get me a new colored source for Fatal Push. We'll get Verdant back, play Verdant, fetch. This can be a non-basic. Bayou, Fatal Push on Guide of Souls, and we'll just stay maximally aggressive with our 2 damage per turn cycle. 16. There's an Ocelot Pride, which if that's the only creature, I can Smallpox that away. And it's not a big deal. Oh, that's weird. Can't double Smallpox. I mean, I do think I do this still. A little weird. My opponent has flagstones randomly. I'm going to discard my Wasteland. I think I'm just kind of like not intending on wastelanding my opponent this game. I'll sacrifice an Orc Army token. I'll sacrifice a Wasteland. My opponent's flagstone triggers, and they surveil. I will attack into a flash creature this time. If I cast a Smallpox next turn, I just lose this Orcish Bowmasters anyway. So, like, no fear. 14. Opponent fetches, surveils again, and keeps a card on top. I need to find, like, a life from the loam. I need something that gives me card advantage here. Yikes. That's very bad. This is the sort of thing that I need, and that I don't want my opponent to have. They pick up an Ocelot Pride here, and then this goes away with Warp. Well, and here we are. Smallpox. There's a Swords. The result of this is that I am 1 life higher than I need to be. And I'll keep my basic land. This does keep my opponent off of warping their creature back in. I think my opponent is currently favored. But they hit a land. I hit a land. The next land they hit, though, they get, where is it? They get Starfield Shepherd. They didn't do it. I didn't do it. Like, if I hit a life from the loam and I get Wasteland, and I get to Wasteland this Elegant Parlor, it's huge. But I didn't. And now my deck being 50% mana is going to come back to bite me. Guide of Souls is coming. Eumidian Hatchery is here. So that I can get lazy F6 value, I'm just going to do that. I'm always ticking that up in the hopes that it turns into something real. And if my opponent wants to Wasteland it immediately, they can. I'm at 13. Now they've got Ephemerate. Oh, God. Yep. So my opponent has succeeded in value-oriented permanence, and I have not. I think this one's over. Now they have Ocelot Pride, Guide of Souls, Starfield Shepherd. I need like a Toxic Deluge to take everything out at once. All right, they left me my hatchery. Sure. Welp. You love to see it. And I think I will keep hatchery ticking up here. So this only needs to be 4/2 to kill everything. All right. Old shot. Now the Ephemerate does not get to rebound. There's not a creature in play for that. I'm still playing Magic. Oseju. You a land? You can be a land. Opponent has Samwise. Sure. Now there's some degree of questioning of how much ticking of Eumidian Hatchery do I do, because it literally will change the clock. Taking 2 here. Brings me to 8. Here's Guide of Souls. I think I do tick. I might need to chump block flyers for a decent number of turns. This is big game. Deck! 3, 4, 5. Go to 2. I can still fetch the Surveil land. But what a whiff. Alright. Oh god, there's more. Now I don't even get a block with my Eldrazi Spawn token. So assuming my opponent blinks out Eldrazi Spawn, I take 2, 4, 5, plus 2 from Guide of Soul counters, 7. Yes. Opponent has 7 energy, 18 life when that stack clears. Oh, opponent does not take the lethal line. They are blinking their Ajani. So Felia flies. I can't block Felia, but I can block a 2-power creature. Take 5, go to 2. I don't know what I am trying to surveil into here. Toxic Deluge doesn't work anymore because there's a 5 toughness creature. Hogaak is not it. Not going to pick up Eumidian Hatchery here. Bowmasters doesn't do enough. So I can kill an opponent's creature and then make an 8/8 but die in the air. So I'll show myself the door. So we have another game to try again. I just honestly need to not flood out. My opponent incidentally having some things like flagstones that happen to be good against Smallpox is annoying for me. Unless I board down some lands, I don't really see a way to change my sideboarding here. Alright, I'll be keeping this hand. I have a turn 2 Smallpox with Eumidian Hatchery to start off the game, and can maybe do some cool things after that with Goyf and Grist. Ocelot Pride is fine. I will just tick this up. I'm thinking about whether or not I want to play Bayou or a fetch. I think a fetch. I think I don't want to be wastelanded in the short term. Let's Smallpox. I think I'm going to get rid of Urza's Saga. I think I just have 2 different 3-drop permanents that I want to spend my mana on. Sack Eumidian Hatchery, and then get on board with some permanents. I don't have a 2-drop here, which I don't love, because my opponent could... Okay, there's the wasteland that I played around. Oh, shit. I get to Hogaak? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in graveyard. As long as I get a basic land, I get to Hogaak here. Unexpected. 1, 2, and it does nuke the entire graveyard. So this will make this worse. I don't get to use my mana this turn, but like, oh well, I made an 8/8 trample creature. I'll live. That is another wasteland. That is not colored mana. I am hitting my opponent for 10 here. Send it. Got a Solitude. You really need it. They do. Pitching a Starfield Shepherd. So goodbye, Hogaak. Opponent will take 2 damage. Now, I'm going to get wastelanded, so I get to play one of these 3 cards. I think Grist is sticky here, and Grist could randomly mill over a life from the Loam. Doesn't, but it could. Just makes it harder for my opponent to have a turn where they play out a single creature and it make a large difference. Staff of the Storyteller. Well, that's annoying. I didn't get wastelanded, which means that I can play another 3-drop. I think I'm just going to do this pre-combat. So, bam. Send in with everything. Oh, opponent is trading. That's unexpected because it could block a Goyf next turn. All plus. Witherbloom command in graveyard. We're up to a 3/4 over here. Oh, opponent is drawing a card. That is not where they want to be. Okay, Legend ruling a Flagstones. That'll help out with mana in the future. I'm going to assume that the Flagstones is what they just drew, and they were just gambling trying to find another white source. There's a Surveil land. Junking a Samwise. There's a Solitude. Is your last card Ephemerate? Your last card is Ephemerate. That'll take out 2 of my creatures. My opponent should wasteland me. I have 2 Haymakers here. They would like to keep me off of them. The basic land bites me in the butt here a little bit. That's fine. We'll go ahead and minus. Junk an insect token. Kill a Solitude. Send in. Opponent has no cards remaining. No target for Ephemerate. And I've got a Grist with 3 loyalty. We're chilling. There's another land. See if my opponent misplays and lets me make mana with this. They do. Excellent. So I think I immediately just stick a Goyf. Then send in for 1. I want to wait to see if my opponent ambushes. They don't ambush with a flash creature, which means that I now Grist plus. Eumidian Hatchery to graveyard. Felia for Staff of the Storyteller. Yeah, you should have done that earlier. There's no point in doing it now. You should wait to see if you need that bonus mana on your turn. That's fine. That is a Starfield Shepherd. I mean, that'll get my opponent a good card. I can get them might just get them a basic Plains, honestly. I think that's what I would do. Nope, they're going for Guide of Souls. Sure. Let's try to get some mana fixing here. Oh, just Hogaak again? We'll just Hogaak again. I can Hogaak from graveyard, though. I'll take Verdant. Deploy Verdant. I guess fetch with it. I did this wrong. It's fine. Plus, we will Hogaak 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Combat. Send in for 1. Opponent is facing down 11 damage and has Guide of Souls plus 1 unknown card. And that's enough for the concession there. That last match was absolutely scary. My opponent had a ton of value-oriented permanents. But we end up with a 4-1 finish in this league. GG's. Alrighty. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Pretty good, honestly. Much better than I expected. The numbers here seem quite tuned, and I don't know that I would change much. Still not really a fan of Voidmere. I would have played, some sort of Null Rod style effect or more copies of other things that are already in the sideboard. But generally speaking, other than Voidmere, I think I used everything that was here within this league. I certainly did not sideboard properly. I'm sure I missed some stuff in terms of play as well. But generally speaking, this was a strong deck, stronger than I expected. I think you need to run a little hot sometimes, playing a 50% land deck. But we had a surprising number of games where I just accidentally made a Hogaak, accidentally made 3, I always forget what they are, fairies? Insects off of Eumidian Hatchery and just went aggro in the early game, but we also have the ability to grind out games really well. I think some of our wins came from our opponents making suboptimal decisions or missing things. I narrated a lot of them, with the Ghost Vacuum activation being sorcery speed only being probably the most memorable one from this league. So, maybe this wasn't the cleanest 4-1 in the world, but we did get there. This was a lot of fun. This was a good way to spend an afternoon. And with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. Have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya.